Should the Bears trade for Haason Reddick? A new report has dropped about his status and how he could get dealt by the New York Jets. I'm actually going to tell you why the Bears should not trade for the veteran pass rusher. My name is Harrison Graham. This is Chicago Bears. Now, we got our subscriber battle for week 2 going against our Texans channel. Want to take them down on Sunday Night Football. Also want to take them down here within the Chat Sports walls. Bears now has picked up 214 new subs this week. Texans today has picked up 155. So we got a healthy lead, but let's not leave it to chance. If you want free and daily Bears content, hit that subscribe button and let's take down Texans today. All right, let's talk about Haason Reddick here. A new report has dropped that the Jets may have no choice but to move Reddick with no update to the contract situation, no solution in sight. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN with the report saying that the Haason Reddick saga rolls on with no end in sight. Both sides appear dug in as the Jets wait for the defensive end to report to work. Their options appear clear. Keep him on the reserve list until he reports or attempt to trade him closer to the deadline. The latter is looking more likely, according to multiple league execs. Not sure they have a choice. They wouldn't get similar value back, but it would be hard for the Jets to pay him at this point, and he clearly doesn't want to be there. I mean, can you talk about, just real quick, we'll get to the Bears side of this in a sec, but this is like an all-time disaster. Like, what are you doing if you're the New York Jets? Like, it was reported a few weeks ago that the Jets, when they traded for Reddick, tried to get a deal done, couldn't come to terms for a player they knew wanted a pay raise / extension, yet they went with the trade anyway. Oh, we'll figure it out. He'll show up. Really? Because he hasn't. And now you might have to trade him again. You traded a third, and now you'd probably get lucky to get a fourth back. I mean, what an all-time disaster this is for the New York Jets. Because remember, they let, I'm forgetting the guy's name, walk out the door, Bryce Huff, thank you, producer Colin, to the Eagles. And now the guy you traded from the Eagles ain't even in your building. It's a mess. But I want to ask you guys from the Bears standpoint, and then I'll give my thoughts. Would you trade for Haason Reddick? Type T for trade or P for pass. Let us know in the comment section below, T for trade or P for pass. I actually would not because, and look, it's one game. It's not the end of the world. And maybe closer to the deadline, I'd reconsider. But through 1 week, the Bears' pass rush win rate led the NFL at 71%. You got production from your edge rushers, Montez Sweat, Darrell Taylor, Andrew Billings, and Javon Dexter in the interior. You look at some of the numbers here. Taylor was awesome. Had the 2 sacks, 3 pressures, had a forced fumble. Even in a quieter game for Montez Sweat, still had 3 pressures. Dexter had 3 pressures and a sack. Billings was fantastic. 4 pressures from a nose guard. I mean, he was terrific. Didn't even see much from Austin Booker. You hope he gives you something at some point. And again, I don't want to overreact to one game, but I look at that game against Tennessee and I'm like, the defensive line is not your biggest issue. It's not a major problem. Now, is it a strength of the team yet? I need to see more, but you certainly feel positive through 1 week, right? I didn't even mention DeMarcus Walker. He had 5 pressures, playing both edge and defensive tackle. So you got production from 5 guys in week 1 on your defensive line. So I feel pretty good about that group right now. And again, if you get closer to the deadline and an injury pops up or you feel the need to add there, okay, we can revisit this. But right now, I don't think trading for Haason Reddick makes sense. And something to consider here is even though it probably will only cost you like a 4th at this point, maybe even a 5th, he clearly wants a lot of money. And that's not on him. I am not taking the Jet side in that situation because they knew the situation. They did it anyway. But the fact that he's proven to sit out games, I think he wants pretty big money here. And I put this on Twitter to people. Are you ready to give him Montez Sweat money? Because I'm not ready to give Haason Reddick Montez Sweat money for him to show up right now. And that might be what it takes. That might be what he wants. So I'm not there when it comes to Reddick, not in week 2. Closer to the deadline, if I get a little more desperate or feel like he's a missing piece to make a deep run, maybe. Right now, no way. I think what Darrell Taylor showed at least bought you time with what you have on your defensive line at this point in time. And let's be frank, the Bears have a bigger weakness. They have a bigger issue on their roster right now. I'm going to tell you what that is and why that should be a focus in looking to add talent or at least shore up the rest of the season, if we're being completely frank. All right, before we get to that, shout out to Rocket Money. They have been a sponsor for us at Bears Now, off and on for a long time now. They are back, and they're better than ever. I've been using the Rocket Money app for a long time. It's a personal finance app that can find and cancel any subscriptions that you no longer want. And you guys should download the app too and take advantage of this app. What it'll do is help you set budgets and keep you on top of your spending. If you're overspending, they'll send you alerts like, hey, scale back. Or if you're ahead of schedule, they'll keep you on track of that as well. They'll also show you all of your subscriptions on one screen. And you'll see that you're spending probably $200-$300 per month on subscriptions when most Americans think it's more like $70. Get started with Rocket Money. Click the cancel button next to any subscriptions you no longer want. They will cancel it for you. Download the app today at rocketmoney.com/bears now. Create an account and get started. Start staying on top of your finances. My wife and I use this app all the time, and it's been very helpful as we have a lot of bills to pay. That link is in the comments and in the description. Rocket Money has saved customers a total of $500 million just by canceling subscriptions alone. You could save over $700 per year if you use the app to its fullest potential. Check it out, rocketmoney.com/bears now. All right. The interior offensive line is clearly the biggest issue on this team right now. I mean, even Tevin Jenkins struggled week one. Now, I'm not ready to panic on Tevin. I know his last game last year against the Packers wasn't very good, and the first game this year wasn't, but he's proven to be at least a pretty good player. So at least for this year, I'm not too worried about him as long as he's healthy. But it did not perform well in week one. Coleman Shelton, not that great. He was okay as a run blocker, not very good as a pass blocker, missed a couple of assignments. Ryan Bates got more snaps than Nate Davis at right guard. He did not look that good. Like I said, even Tevin Jenkins, especially as a pass blocker, well below average. Like, you got to get more there. And I do just wonder, is this an area that you try to find a player before the trade deadline? Now, I'm trying to think of recent years. I can't think of big-time impactful offensive linemen getting traded at the deadline. Usually it's like a receiver or a pass rusher or something like that. Has a center that you could think of or a right guard been traded at the deadline and made a major impact for a team? I'm not saying it can't happen. It just seems less likely to have happened in the past. All I know is this, is that you got to get more steadiness from this group. I feel good about the tackles. I think Darnell Wright looks really good. Braxton Jones, we kind of know what he is. He's solid. He's not great. He's not, he's definitely not bad. He's an above average left tackle. It's probably not more than that, but you can live with that. Tevin Jenkins, for the most part, is a good player. It's center and right guard. You got to get rid of the rotating crap at right guard. I don't care who it is. Try someone for a couple weeks, see how it goes. Pick 5 and stick with it. And if you find yourself in week 5, 6, 7, this isn't working, we got to find somebody in there, then maybe that's a position you target at the trade deadline. Maybe you don't need the pass rusher, which we thought that might be the case, because through 1 week, pass rush looked pretty damn good. Offensive line, not so much, especially on the interior. So that's kind of where I'm at this point in time. Now, who do you want to start at right guard? Ryan Bates is banged up. We don't know for sure his status. But beyond this week, who would you ideally like to be the right guard? Nate Davis? Ryan Bates? Someone else? I know some people like Matt Pryor. He looked pretty good in the preseason. Drop a name or an initial in the comment section below. So in conclusion, Haason Reddick's a great player. He'd be awesome. But this isn't Madden. You don't really need to add that type of piece right now and sign him up for 3 years and $75 million, at least not right now. Let's see how the next few weeks go. Let's see if the pass rush continues to play well. And maybe the offensive line's an area you trade for. I really do think that could be an area worth investing into more. Let's be honest. Your biggest investment right now is Caleb Williams. Protect him. And if the guys you have can't get it done, maybe there's someone else out there that can. All right, there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the Haason Reddick situation in terms of the Bears. Be sure to subscribe for more Bears content. Let's get more subscribers than Texans today before kickoff.